Good morning, everybody. This is Amanda Ellis of amandaellis.co.uk, Facebook page, Angelic Celestial Colours, that's spelt with a U, the European way. Some of you are trying to find me on Facebook, and it is on my Angelic Celestial Colours page, not my Amanda Ellis page. That's more of a private family page, okay? So that's where you'll find me. You're watching me on YouTube, Amanda Ellis 11. So this is a follow-on video. I've done an overview of the whole of 2017 with the energy of Archangel Metatron to guide us. Thank you all very much for all of the comments and likes and shares on that. I often forget to say thank you at the start of these videos. I do really appreciate all of your support, and I do read all of the comments, even if I don't always have time to reply personally to each one. So thank you very much for that. I'm also really glad that the new video setup seems to be working better. So the lighting, the sound seems to be on track now, so I'm pleased about that. I have a teenage daughter though who saw my video and she said, "Oh my God, Mum, you know, you're far too close to the screen. No one does that." And if you have teenagers, you will know exactly what I'm talking about, because you can never do it right in their eyes. So I've put myself a bit further back here. Anyway, welcome. I'm making this, as I say, January the 8th, and I believe that we've suddenly got forward motion with all of the astrological planets that are going to be a bit kinder to us. We were in a funny sort of stop-start energy for the beginning of January, but it feels as though I'm hearing Metatron saying it's all stations go. So he's having a bit of a laugh with us there, but in all seriousness, it's almost as though, yeah, we need to get into the new year energy now. What I thought I'd do for this video, which is going to cover the rest of January and then into the beginning of February as well, although I will do a February video, is I was guided to look at 5 words. And these 5 words are qualities, I suppose, that I feel are going to be important, and Archangel Metatron is drawing to our attention for 2017, but particularly for these first couple of months, because it's almost as though the first couple of months of a new year are really when we seed our plans, we decide on our projects, we decide on what's going to be emphasised this year, what's going to be let go of. So I feel as though Metatron wants to help us with 5 themes, which we need to keep very front of mind, whatever is going on in our life at the moment. On my Facebook page, I did ask you to come up with 5 words of your own. So we'll see whether any of my words correlate to yours, but it doesn't matter if they don't, and I'm really interested to hear what your 5 words are as well, okay? So what I'm being drawn to do then is talk about the word. I'm going to put the word with a colour energy, and I'm also, because I love the cards, I'm going to draw 1 card for each theme as well after we've talked about it a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to write them down in the order that they came to me. And the first word or theme that I want to talk about is the word choice. Okay, so choice. Interestingly, 1, 2, 3, 4 of my 5 words begin with the letter C. And of course, C is the 3rd word of the alphabet. 3 is linked into the planet Jupiter, the colour coral, which is about abundance. We're in a new year, which is a number 1 vibration, which is all about new beginnings. So I also feel this energy of 3 though, which is the abundant energy. And this new beginning wants to bring that abundance in for us. So that's just an aside. I was just quite interested that all the words seem to begin with C. Okay, so our first word, choice. Before we turn to Metatron, I was just listening to the radio this morning, and my favourite DJ is back at breakfast time. I like listening to the Chris Evans show, Radio 2. He's just very sparky, he's got a lot of energy, and when I wake up feeling, you know, if I haven't got a lot of energy, he always puts a smile on my face. I like him a lot. Anyway, this morning he was talking about, and I think it's really good advice, he was talking about at the start of a new year, everybody always says to you, what are you doing this year? What have you got on? And we're all guilty of that. And I've done that to people as well. And I've certainly had people say that to me. What have you got on? What are you doing this year? And his response to that was, before we say anything extra that we might be doing, remember the fact that we might actually already be very busy with, I don't know, successful career, family. I've got quite a large house to sort of tend as well. Parents that need looking after. You know, we all have quite big things going on in our lives a lot of the time anyway. So it's about having choice in terms of any spare time that we have through 2017, over and above the things that we carry forward from last year, which are in our lives. How are we going to choose to decide what is good and what isn't? So this word about choice is really, really important. The colour spray that I want to put with choice is, I'm just looking, I've selected some here. I'm going to choose this one, which is the Lemon Joy spray, okay? Because I think our choices need to be determined by what brings us joy and happiness, okay? What brings us joy and happiness? So let's just spray this around myself, and you can just tune into this beautiful colour. It's like a honey yellow, okay? And think about the choices in your life, things that you could do this year, things that you have been asked to do. And let's just spend a moment thinking about which of those actually are the ones that bring you the greatest joy. And by that, I'm talking about a physiological response in your body. Which are the ones that make your heart go, oh, yes, I want to do that. I want to try that. I'd like to explore that. And which are the ones that make your body sink in terms of duty, obligation? I've said I'm going to do it, so I better do it. You know, that sort of energy. So any spare time that we have, any space that we have created in our lives for something new to come in, make sure that you make the right choices this year. Choices, I'm hearing it so, so loudly. You know, even on a very small level, this morning coming into my therapy room on a Monday morning, I'm sure like many of you, I've got a lot of things that I need to do, a huge to-do list. And I sat down and I actually thought, no, what is the thing that I want to do this morning? And actually the thing I wanted to do this morning was talk to you and make this video, because it made me feel, yeah, I want to do that. The energy was behind it. I was in alignment with the flow of what the universe was asking me to do, but I still had a choice whether I said yes or no. So we've got the energy of joy, we've got the word choice. Let's choose a card now that goes with it. I'm going to use the same deck that I used for the overview of 2017, just because I thought it would be interesting to see if any of the same cards come up or whether we get something different. So let's just ask Archangel Metatron for some more guidance with regard to choice over the next few weeks. Okay, I'm being asked to stop there. And we've got the moon, okay. So if I put that card up to the camera, we have the moon, okay. Now, the moon to me is, well, there's a few things coming through. We've obviously got some, as we have in any month, some major moon phases coming up. This week, the 12th of January, we've got a full moon in Cancer. And I want to say hooray, because I'm a Cancerian, so I'm really into this full moon. But Cancer rules the home, okay? It rules the home. It rules relationships. It rules the realm of love, relationships and home. And so I'm feeling as though the choices that we need to make need to be balanced with our home life. And that's very, very pertinent for me at the moment. I'm really trying to make choices through 2017 that are in alignment with my day-to-day home life and my family. So think about that, think about home. It may also be that this full moon on the 12th asks you to rearrange your home in some way. Over and above clearing out and, sort of having a spring clean. I'm thinking here about redesigning, just moving. I think it's very important to actually move furniture around from time to time, because what it does is it changes the whole energy of a room. And you'll know that if you've just taken down your Christmas decorations, because everyone says the same thing. They say the house looks so bare and empty. Well, it's because objects which were to do with beauty and joy and sparkle and all of that suddenly are gone, and we're left with this blank slate. So what are you going to do with that room now that looks a bit bare? How can we inject some colour into it? How can we inject some warmth into it? It doesn't mean spending a lot of money. It can actually just be about moving pieces of furniture around. I do it a lot actually in this workroom myself, although I'm a little bit tied with windows and light at the moment. But I've always done it. I've always changed my space. And by changing your space, it just changes perspective, is what Metatron says as well. He's reminding me of this funny thing we have as human beings, which is that we are creatures of habit, and we also quite like to be close to each other. I remember the first day of university years ago, and it was up in central London. I was very nervous, and I went into the lecture theatre where for the next 4 years all of the lectures on different subjects would be held. And I sat down more or less in the first seat that I saw, didn't know anybody. And then for the next 4 years, I sat in the same seat, as did virtually everybody else on that course. And, you see it in workshops. People come back and they sit in the same seat the next day. And when I remember, I always try to say to people, can you change your seat? Because by changing your seat, you're actually changing the energy, you're changing your perspective, you're actually even changing your vision on the world. So think about your home, think about maybe what you could just tweak or change that's actually going to allow the energy to flow a little bit better. The other moon phase we've got in January is obviously I think it's new moon on about the 28th, 29th, something like that. So again, these moon phases are going to be important. Tune into the energy of the moon. This card here is often linked into, it's often linked into illusion and confusion actually, in terms of not knowing what choice to make, what path to take. So use Mother Nature to help you with that. Get out into moonlight, star. Actually, funny enough, it's really interesting. I need to reference back what I was listening to this morning on the radio, because somebody was on there and they were saying how we make New Year's resolutions, and a New Year's resolution needs willpower for it to actually come off in the long term. But sometimes we put that willpower into things that are trivial or are just so difficult that we're almost setting ourselves up to fail. And this person was saying, why don't you make a New Year's resolution, which is more just about going out and seeing the stars once a week, So in all seriousness, this thing about nature as our healer to help us make the choices that we need to make through these next couple of weeks. So I think that's all I want to say about that. So that's our first word. Our second word that I've got here is collaboration. And that probably doesn't surprise some of you that have watched me talking on Facebook. I think it's a theme that came up towards the end of 2016. And as I'm sitting here, Metatron is saying this is both collective and personal. So let's just square the collective thing off now. I'm being shown the USA, but I'm also being shown Europe. And all these changes that are afoot, different parties of different persuasions, different ideologies, and somehow they're going to have to come together and collaborate. And also another word, compromise, because otherwise it's not going to work. So you can see that is playing out on the world stage, whether within the EU, whether within the United States, or you can also, I'm sure, probably relate it to other countries around the world where you may be watching this. But if you take that now down into our personal lives, we also have to realise, I feel, that the energy, as I talk about in the overview video, is quite dense, is quite heavy at the moment. And no one person can solve it all. No one person can shine enough light at the moment to change the dynamic of this planet. However, together we can. So it's about putting our heads together, putting our hearts together, and collaborating with people of like mind. Now, having said that, another C word comes in here, which is that isn't an excuse for codependency. Now, what I mean by that is, and this is more something for those of you that might be starting off, whether it's on your spiritual path or whether it's in business or in any other area of life, even in terms of relationship, if you're collaborating somehow in relationship, don't sink into codependency. It's not an excuse for not doing something that Spirit is asking you to do solo, okay? So it's not about both parties within this collaboration need to be of equal weight and to give equal energy to it, because that's very important. But equally, they mustn't lean on each other to such a degree that it's almost like you strangle the life out of the project or the initiative, okay? So collaboration needs to be mutually beneficial. It needs to have a beautiful blend of skills that come together to create something that that person wouldn't be able to do on their own. And the colour energy that I want to ask, or I feel will help you with that, is the energy of the lavender soul star, okay? Now, the soul star chakra is situated above our crown. It's where divine guidance comes in. It's also, because it's a beautiful lilac-y colour here, it will help to purify the space around ourselves and the other person or other company. It might even be companies we're talking about here, collaborating with each other. So let's bring in the soul star energy and let's just see if there's anything else Archangel Metatron wants to say on collaboration. So just feeling that beautiful lavender soul star energy coming down over you. Asking Archangel Metatron for inspiration and to help bring to you over the next few weeks any people, businesses or energies that will help you collaborate to produce something in 2017 which is for mutual highest good. And he's saying to me, rather than don't think it has to be something really grand and flash, you know, that we're all going to somehow meet somebody and come up with some amazing invention and create the new Dyson Hoover. It's not about that. It's about the small stuff as well. So within my life at the moment, because I'm so busy, I have no help at all around the house, or I don't have any help. So I'm going to get a cleaner in, you know, and I've battled against that a bit because I felt that I should be doing it all myself. But I can't do it all myself. I can't do my work and maintain this big house that I live in. So for me, collaboration will actually be a lovely person coming in to help me maintain the cleanliness and the energy of my home. So don't go too highbrow with it. Don't think suddenly it's got to be some amazing vision that you're bringing in. That can be ego actually that comes into play. It can also be in the small stuff, okay? So the soul star is a good place to go to meditate, to just tune into your own soul star and ask Archangel Metatron to bring in the right person for you to collaborate with in 2017, whatever that means. That's our second word. Okay, our third word is conception. Conception, okay? Now, we had a lot of people passing over in 2016, both collectively, I talked about that in the George Michael video, and also personally. A lot of people I know, and many of you that are watching this, lost people that they love, and I really send out love and huge hugs to anybody watching that happened to. As a little aside, just putting it down, that I do intend to do a video which tackles grief and loss, okay? And it's going to be a meditation linked into the Bluebell Bridge spray that I sell. which is about visiting a garden of memoriam where effectively your loved one comes to you. I will be doing that as soon as possible. I've got quite a lot on at the moment, but I really do intend to do that because I know there's a need for it. But anyway, so I also feel, and I've said this before, that unfortunately this trail of people dying over and above the normal rate will continue through this year, and that's linked into what we know and what was prophesied to happen around the 2012 date but didn't. A lot of people wanting to or choosing to pass over, but for some reason hung on. I don't quite know why, but they did. So what's going to happen to balance this, of course, is we are going to have some amazing souls coming into our planet. That's why we've got the word conception. So firstly, it's conception in terms of physical births, okay, physical babies being born, but it's also conception of idea. So let's tackle one at a time. Conception of birth. If you are struggling to conceive, if you are hoping to start a family this year, if you're hoping to start a family quite late. I was actually watching, I was reading the newspaper over breakfast today, and Nicole Kidman, you know, the Australian actress, is talking about wanting a baby at age 49. Well, I'm 49 and I really don't want another baby. But, you know, I've done it all. But she does, and hats off to her. There's no reason why she can't, actually, because we're all living longer. So it's almost whatever age you are, if you feel called to conceive a child in 2017, I feel as though Archangel Metatron is saying, do it consciously, and I'm talking about spiritually consciously here, okay? So it's about the act of sex, effectively, to bring in the baby, having in mind during that act the fact that you are welcoming in a soul as well, and trying to keep the vibration around you and your partner as high vibration as you can, because that's your vibration effectively attracts in the soul that wants to come to you. So the lighter, the happier, the more joyful you can be, as well as your home, it's going to attract in that bright spark that wants to come and be with you. It can also, of course, work the other way, that if you're in quite a dark place and you're really struggling and you're feeling very depressed, or, I don't know, life is not working very well for you, sometimes those beautiful bright sparks can come into our families as little babies and children to help us and to heal us. So there's no given rule for it, but there are a lot of beautiful souls that want to come through in 2017. So let's welcome them with open arms, and also let's support those that are actually trying to conceive this year. The colour that I want to bring in for that, there's two actually. The traditional colour for conception and for trying for babies is coral, okay? Coral, this one is the Christ light energy, but it's the colour that's particularly important. So I'm just going to spray this around me. This is Cosmic Love. Coral as an energy is very sensitive. So it's reflecting the sensitivity of these souls that are going to be coming in. But Metatron's saying to me, they're going to come in, even though they are very sensitive. It's almost as though the spirit world have observed over the last 20 years that some of the, I'm hearing the words army of souls that have come into this planet to help, and I'm talking here about very young children with this heightened sensitivity, are struggling a bit in the world because it's still such a tough place. I've got one in my own family, a 10-year-old little girl, and she's the most beautiful child, very, very sensitive, full of amazing spiritual gifts. But she struggles in this 3D world a bit. So I feel as though this new wave of souls that want to come in are going to be a little, I want to say tougher, but still have that sensitivity. It's almost as though Spirit has watched, and it wants to help, basically, these new souls that are coming in. There are, of course, many things that we can do for our children that are here at the moment that might be struggling, like my little Sophie, and that's to do with giving them healing, supporting them, listening to them. This morning before Sophie went off to school, she came into my room here And I just said to her, I said, do you need a spray today? And she said, yes, please, Mum. And she didn't even want to get involved with it today. Sometimes she does. I just sprayed her actually with the fuchsia pink spray, which is solar plexus. And it just helps give her a bit of strength in her core. So, but conception for this year, okay, that's another of our C words. So far we've got choice, we've got collaboration, and we've got conception. The fourth word, oh, I didn't pull a card, did I? Let's just do a card for conception, okay. Let's do one for conception of a child firstly, and then we will do one for conception of an idea, which I hadn't talked about. So a card for conception of a child in 2017. Just an energy that we might need to talk about here. Conception of a child. The Ace of Pentacles, okay. So aces are good, they're all about forward movement. This, obviously the pentacle here is about money. Let me just have a little look in my book here, if you don't mind, in front of me. Just want to get it right, because I know it's an important message for some of you. Ace of Pentacles. This ace is the possibility of prosperity, abundance and security. It is the promise of wealth and well-being, of flourishing and of reaping the rewards of hard work. What I'm hearing in my head here, and this is a message for some of you watching, not all of you, is that I believe sometimes there's never a perfect time to have a baby. Some of you that maybe are struggling financially, feel as though they can't afford one. It's not about being irresponsible and just, assuming other people are going to pay and, pick up the tab. But it is about realising that we're in an abundant universe, and that if it's meant to be and for the highest good, and there's a child waiting up there for you to conceive it and birth it this year, and then support it and love it through its life. Don't let worries about material wealth get in the way. Don't start worrying about the cost of it all. If it's divinely planned and meant to be, you will be provided for, okay? Right, let's do one more here about conception of an idea. So, conception of an idea. What do we want to say on that? What I want to say on that is that conception of an idea takes time. This is something I'm learning, okay? And what we don't want to get into is this energy of doing things just to say we've done them, It's a new year. I'm giving myself a goal. I have to have done this by a certain time, whether it's published a book, whether it is, I don't know what's going on in your life. Maybe you're, writing a course, or you're training for something, or it has to happen by a certain date. But if there's an idea that's linked into that, if there is something that has to be conceived, Spirit just doesn't work like that. Spirit doesn't work to deadlines. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're working for spirit, if you're looking for spiritual guidance and inspiration, it's not about tell me now, tell me now and then I can do it in the time frame that I've got available to do it. It doesn't work like that. It's about easing up and realising that all you have to do is basically open up, create space. That means letting go of things physically and emotionally and energetically. Create the space for the new ideas to be conceived and come to you. But don't put a deadline on it. Don't say, well, I sort of need it by now, Metatron, because I'm aiming to do this at that month. It just doesn't work like that anymore, I don't feel. Because there is a natural timeline to everything. And so, for example, if there's a book or something, or a project that you're really wanting to get off the ground, or you're wanting the new business idea to come in, and because it's the start of 2017, it's almost like, give it to me now. What is the idea? Relax. Can you feel the tension that is created when you do that? And that is a complete block to Spirit coming in and actually giving you the guidance that you need to conceive the new idea. Okay, let's have a card to support this challenge sometimes that we have with conceiving ideas. Oh, that one's flown out. The Nine of Cups. I think that one came up actually in the overview video, did it? I think it did, 9 of Cups. We have a man, and we have 9 fish, and we have the element of water. And obviously cups are about emotions. Let me read the message that goes with the 9 of Cups. They're very short messages in this little book. It says, enjoy the pleasure of the... Yeah, we did have this. Enjoy the pleasures of the senses, satisfaction and wish fulfillment. The future is assured and there is harmony on the horizon. Yeah, I do remember this. This actually came up in a very, very different question, which was about... worries about the world and mass destruction, and Metatron was saying, don't worry, the future is assured. And here we've got it. We're asking about conceiving ideas, conceiving plans, conceiving projects. And he's saying, don't worry, the future is assured. Your future is assured. Your destiny is assured. Stop pushing it so much. Stop pushing it so much. It's like when you try to conceive a baby, actually. The worst thing you can do is get stressed about it. I know somebody who went through rounds and rounds of IVF, spent an absolute fortune trying to conceive a baby. It didn't work for them. They gave up, and they just realised that they were going to be childless, and they came to an acceptance of it. Within 2 months, she fell naturally pregnant. Okay, so I know it doesn't happen for everybody, but that's quite a common story. And the reason for that is that her body just relaxed. Her body suddenly wasn't stressed. I know IVF can work for a lot of people, so I'm not poo-pooing it at all. I think it's fantastic. But I'm just using it as an analogy here. Whether you are trying to get pregnant physically, whether you are trying to conceive an idea, relax, take the stress out of it and allow the love to come in as well, okay? All right, that's conception. So our 4th word we have is... I've actually got a choice of 2 here, so I'm just going to tune in. Now I'm going to say crystals. I'm going to say crystals. So crystals are going to be very important for us. Well, they were always important for us, but for some reason at the start of this year. Now, what Metatron is saying here is that if we think about planting ideas, trying to create projects for the new year, everything we've talked about so far, crystals are an amazing tool to help us. Now, there's 2 things I want to say about crystals. I've got some amazing ones sitting here, which I'll show you in a minute, which literally I bought yesterday for some new sprays coming in, which is always exciting to get new crystals. But before we do that, I want to talk about old crystals, okay? Old, broken crystals. This is a Merkaba of mine, and unfortunately, Merkabas are very, very difficult to keep intact because by nature they've got these pointy ends. So this one is damaged. It's split on quite a few of the ends to it, and I know it's not working on full power anymore. So I'm going to give this back to the earth. And I'm going to plant it somewhere where it's safe. You know, I'm not going to just throw it onto a beach for some dog to pick up in its mouth. I'm going to probably plant it in my garden, actually. But the point is, any crystals that you have, which over the course of last year got damaged, got broken, are feeling tired, you feel that you've just used them enough, give them back to the earth, because the more that you do that, the earth will thank you for it. And again, the whole universe works on give and receive. So it's very important with our damaged crystals to put them back into the earth or put them back into the water. Or if you think they're good enough to pass them on to somebody. But let's just talk about crystals. So I'm going to show you a couple that I've just bought. And the first one is... I'm thinking, oh no, now I can't remember what they are. Where is my piece of paper which actually says what they all are? I'm just going to put them up to the... Okay, this is a titanium... Hold on, let me see if I can find the piece of paper. I say, they literally came in yesterday. It'll be here on my desk. I do remember when I did another video on crystals, one of the messages that came through was the fact that we shouldn't we shouldn't basically just always keep buying more and more crystals, because I do believe sometimes it's also about respecting the earth, and buying loads and loads of crystals isn't always a good thing, because you have to respect the fact that they've come from the earth, and maybe the earth needs them as well. Okay, I don't know where that thing is, don't worry. But the point is, when you buy a crystal, buy it for a specific reason. So this one actually is linked into a new spray that I'm going to be doing, which I don't want to say too much about. It's actually a platinum spray, okay? So anyway, it's a very, very beautiful crystal. You can see that one. And I've also got this one as well. I don't know if it's going to come out on camera. It's a very, very beautiful... I'm going to have to put them in the comments box what the actual crystals are. Okay, those are two of my new ones. So, and also let me show this. This was a gift from a lady, Denise. Thank you, Denise. Beautiful crystal bracelet that came and arrived on Saturday, actually. Quartz and you've written it down here for me, Denise. Hold on. Rose quartz and I can't pronounce it today. Aventurine. You say it somewhere in there. Anyway, it's a very, very beautiful bracelet and it feels gorgeous. So thank you very much for that. So crystals, in all seriousness, tune into your crystals, which ones are going to support you through the next couple of months. And I'm not going to say go and get this one or that one because it's so individual. Let's choose a card about crystals. Okay. The Fool upside down. That's interesting, isn't it? So we've got the Fool, which is upside down. The Fool is the new beginning, but it's upside down here. So what does that mean in relation to crystals? That's very interesting. I just need to tune into this. I'm going to allow these two crystals just to speak through me for one moment. So I'm just going to hold them and just see what message they want to bring through. Okay, the message that I'm getting here is we had the Fool card as an upside down, and I'm being shown the northern and the southern hemisphere. And I'm being shown the fact that, for example, if you live in the northern hemisphere, it's going to be beneficial to work with some crystals from the southern hemisphere. And if you live in the southern hemisphere, to connect with some crystals from the northern hemisphere. And it probably works east to west as well, but I'm feeling it more north to south. I don't know whether this is to do with the poles and the magnetic force around the world. And I know that's divinely given to me because I've never thought about that at all. So you're going to have to... Okay, Metatron's also talking about start to become aware of where the crystals are sourced from. Okay, so I can't tell you off the top of my head where these two crystals come from. I can research it, obviously. I've got the information somewhere on my desk, I just don't have it to hand. But it's about realising that, obviously, when we live, I'm in the northern hemisphere, there are crystals around me all day. Even when I go for a walk in the woods, they're underneath the earth that I tread on. But there's something about the need to bring in some energy from the opposite pole of the earth, okay? And I can't go any further with that at the moment. It just feels like he's saying it's a bit of a project for us. So, and you may very well have them. If you start to look at the crystals you've actually got and research where they came from, you may very well find that you've got them already in your collection. So it's not about going on some great big treasure hunt. But there's something about realising, starting to respect the heritage and the history and where these different crystals are coming from. Okay. Our final word then for this video is one which is not about the letter C. It's the word loyalty. Loyalty. Now, why has this one come up? I need to tune into loyalty, and the colour energy that I want to put with it is white, okay? So let's put white energy around us, and let's just tune into the energy of loyalty. And Metatron's saying is loyalty is black or white. There is no grey area. You are either loyal or you're not loyal. You're either loyal to someone or you're not loyal to someone. You're either loyal to an ideology or you're not loyal to an ideology. I feel this is also about walking our talk, being loyal to what we really believe in. Funny actually, that is quite an important point. We're about to enter the Chinese year of the rooster, aren't we? And I was thinking about that in terms of its symbolism. And Metatron started to talk to me about the passage in the New Testament, which is to do with Christ when he was about to go off and be crucified. And the Roman soldiers were trying to round up the disciples who had been supporting him. And there was this thing about, I think it was Peter, who was told that when the cock crows 3 times, you will have denied me 3 times. So it was about 3 times he would deny the fact that he believed what he truly believed. And then when the cock crows, the rooster, he would remember that actually, oh gosh, yes, I've denied what I truly believe 3 times. And so I think this is being brought to our attention because it's really important at the moment to be loyal to what it is we truly believe, to not worry about the people who are going to think we're nuts or crazy, or who put us down, or who are very antagonistic or aggressive to what it is we believe. It's not about fundamentalism, because that's a complete no-no, what we need to be going away from as a world, but it's just about staying true to what you are. So I feel as though Metatron's saying to me there are going to be various incidences, and maybe it's at the start of this year, which is why I'm talking about it now, but I'm feeling it might be a theme through the year, where you might be challenged on your beliefs, okay? Whether it's about angels, Metatron, crystals, colour, whatever it is, shamanic stuff. And rather than maybe the old way of sort of trying to just, dismiss it or change the subject, you're actually going to be asked to look somebody in the eyes, and you don't need to go into what it is you believe, just say, this is what I believe, okay? And again, doesn't have to be anything too highbrow. Happened to me yesterday, actually. I was standing in the supermarket checkout and with my teenage daughter, and teenage daughters get very embarrassed about their mothers who start talking about what they do, particularly if they work with angels. And so what happened was I was standing at the checkout, and this lovely young guy who was, on the till starts talking to me. Turns out he's a student, so I said to him, okay, what are you studying? He's trained to be a chiropractor. So we talked a bit about that, and then he started talking about healing of the body. And then he said to me, what do you do? I could see my daughter wanting the ground to swallow up underneath her. She thought, oh no, mum is going to say what she does. And I thought, yeah, I'm just going to say what I do. So I said, I work with angels and I do healing and therapies. And straight away, because I had had the courage of my convictions to basically say, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I do, this is what I believe, without going on and on about it, he said, that's really interesting. You're the first person I've ever met that does that. Can you tell me a bit more about it? So we had this lovely little conversation. And it wasn't about converting him. It was nothing about that. It was about communication. Again, another C word, communication. We were just communicating, but I was communicating clearly. I wasn't denying. Okay, I was communicating, this is who I am. So it's this thing about loyalty to who we are, being loyal to ourselves. Very, very true. Very, very important at the moment. Also, it's about keeping around you those that are loyal as well. I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people. And I think sometimes it's to do with this shift in vibration from 3rd to 4th to 5th dimension as well. Start to think about who you really want around you this year, who is loyal to you. And again, Metatron's saying it's black or white. People are either loyal or they're not. And if they're not, that's fine. There's no judgment, but you don't need to necessarily have them in your life going forward. Keep close those who love you, who support you, and equally be loyal to those who you love and you want in your life as well, okay? So those were our 5 words. Actually, before I summarise, let's just have a card for loyalty. I sort of have a sense of what this card could be, but let's just see what Metatron gives us. So a card for loyalty. We had the white colour energy. Oh, he's also saying to me about the colour white. I'm looking up because there's a picture of him right above me. He's looking at me with such love. He's saying to me, the white spray is also about starting again. Okay, so don't worry if you have to let certain people or situations or companies or whatever go if they haven't been loyal to you. White is about a clean slate. Okay, I'm being shown that very clearly. And then on that clean slate, which is basically a clear foundation, you can build anew. Okay, so loyalty. We need a card to jump out here. Loyalty. That one. The Page of Wands. Okay, putting that one up to the camera so you can see it. The Page of Wands. And I'm going to look in my book to see what the Page of Wands says. Creative and passionate. She is witty, charismatic and outspoken with her philosophy. Action is what is important. I love that. We were just talking about philosophy, weren't we? So she's outspoken with her philosophy. So it's absolutely backing up what I was just saying. Not necessarily about being outspoken, but just being brave enough to say, yeah, this is who I am. This is what I do. I've seen a few people actually this year, a couple of people in particular who came to my American workshops, and they're out there on YouTube and they're doing it, and I think that's fantastic. You know, they're just doing it, and that's what it's all about. It's about living by and being loyal to what you truly believe. So we've had those 5 words. We've had choice, collaboration, conception, crystals, and we've had loyalty. And I'm just going to now choose one more card for us to wrap up this video. Okay, so one more card, and this is for middle of January through to about the second week of February, I'm feeling. So it's certainly going through the moon phases that we talked about at the start here. Okay, we've got this one. We've got the High Priestess, and then we've got the Emperor on the bottom of the pack as well. So let's have both of those. The High Priestess and the Emperor. I think they might have come up in my last video, can't remember. High Priestess, our higher self. Let your higher self guide you through these next couple of weeks. Let your higher self be your greatest teacher. Let her bring to you the people that you need in your life. Let her let her show you your life through the eyes of wisdom and love. The Emperor feels as though he's here to provide structure and support, firm foundation, organisation. Yeah, I think that's basically what he's here to do. So I hope you found that helpful. I will be getting back soon to the Ascended Master videos that I was doing before Christmas. I'm really feeling a pull to bring through the Melchizedek energy quite strongly, so that probably will be the next video, which will be totally out of comfort zone for me because I've not channeled Melchizedek before, but I'm feeling he's sort of sitting here saying, come on girl, you know, it's fine, we're going to do this. So that'll be the next video. I'm going to upload this now to YouTube, and I am sending you lots of love for the coming weeks. Bye everyone.